everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live, the 890 Jump Super Tour. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and we're going to do the show a little bit differently this week. We're doing a throwback to one of our old ship shape style shows where we are going to load up a ship in the editor, in this case, the massive super yacht, the 890 Jump, and then we are going to have guests from our Winslow, United Kingdom studio, Crewe and Pete Royale, join us and give us a sort of director's commentary tour, if you will, of the 890 Jump, which has recently been released to the Evocati. So let's say hi to John and Pete. How you guys doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Hey, you all right?
Good. You can see the ship. We got a new text set up here, so you can see the ship. It looks like it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep, doesn't look like a flying Dorito / Mighty Ducks ship anymore.
It doesn't look like a flying Dorito / Mighty Ducks. Now let's talk about that. We did make some changes to the exterior. We're sitting outside. You mentioned it, so we're going to jump right into it. Why doesn't it look like the Mighty Ducks bill anymore? I mean, what's the story there?
The concept never really looked like it either. It was just one of those things that whilst we were building the ship out,
from certain angles.
Obviously there was quite a few changes made along the way to the exterior. It was just one of those weird things that you sit looking at a ship for a long time, then you start seeing shapes in it.
Wow.
And then once we spotted that, it changed, especially I think the windows broke up the duck face a little.
Yeah, it was really it's easy to point at the front here as the culprit, but it was just as much the cockpit window that lent itself to the duck profile.
Yeah, I mean that front there, that was one of the things we changed. So earlier on in development, that was inverted the way it slopes back, and we changed it so it slopes the way it is here, and that kind of echoes how you'd expect a yacht, like you said earlier, a mega yacht to look.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks a lot better for that now. And then like these holes here you're going past, that go in from the top, that was something we added in a little later.
Cool.
The original concept also didn't have a lot of these details because there was only a select few images done for the exterior.
Yes.
That there was a lot of assumption made on what would fill in those details, and I think we did a good job on that. If you get really close to the exterior, it's just as detailed as some of our smaller ships.
Yeah, this was one of the last ships
bigger.
we concepted in 2014 before we made the big switch over into 3D concepts that tend to be more fleshed out.
Yeah, you definitely have to do quite a bit more filling in on some of the older concepts, but we got Graham, one of our senior artists, doing a fantastic job on this, filling in some of the holes, because obviously with 2D, you're only seeing it from certain angles, and then there were some inconsistencies with what we were seeing. But yeah,
anyone that's looked at the Merchantman's concept images will know what we're talking about when we talk about inconsistencies in images.
Yeah. Now, one of the questions that existed during the original concept were where all the turrets and stuff were, because this is it's not just a super yacht; it's a pretty well-armed super yacht, and a lot of those original concept images didn't have the turrets in place. So I understand that this is where they're hidden, right?
Yep. So there's a manned turret in that hatch.
There we go. Ooh. There we go.
So that's packing 2 size 4s currently. Same as the original concept brochure had. I know there's been a lot of debate about the sort of damage output of this ship and its place against other ships, and it is something we're looking at. We're not going to immediately make any changes because this is really the big bonus this ship has is its defensive capabilities. It's our first sort of capital class ship. Mm-hmm. It's our first ship with a lot of size 4 items, size 4 shields, so it can really take a pounding to offset some of the ships that may pack a slightly more punch on paper. So we're not going to change anything at the moment, but if in the future it is underperforming, then like any ship, we will make changes to put it into the place it's supposed to be. There's a manned turret at the front there. You saw 2 of those remote missile turrets outside the bridge. So currently, any of these remote turrets, they have to be manned purely because we don't have fully automated or point defense turrets in game usable at the moment. But in the future, these will become automated if you wish, or you can still retain manual control over them. So there's 2 remote ones there. Then there's a remote one at the top back, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
Top at the back.
Now, of course, the turrets will be AI controlled when we have the AI blades to put into the CPUs and stuff like that.
Yes, and for ships like this, especially ones that we'd said come with point defense, a point defense turret is essentially just a pre-equipped AI blade on a remote turret.
Okay. So, and then they made a lot of changes to the rear profile of this. This is way more detailed than the original concept was.
Yeah. Did we have a concept of the rear? I don't think I ever saw a
I
concept.
don't think there was ever a concept image done that showed it in great detail. We had the original concept mesh, but that was very much the old Origin styling with the very circular style engines.
Yeah.
This was one of the first things that changed when we put this into proper production.
Very cool.
Tricky thing with being symmetrical like this is just trying to not add a little face to it, because once you see that face in it, you can't unsee it. So it went through a couple of iterations to try and avoid that, but I think it looks pretty cool now.
I love the views into the rooms in the back there.
Yeah, the master suite at the back has some pretty good expansive glass to look out from.
And then let's go ahead and take a look inside. I noticed these here, escape raft.
Yep, just like other ships that have ejection pods. This is obviously a bit larger, so it has escape rooms or rafts like the Idris and Javelin have, where this is where the pods would actually eject out from. So we've modeled that in ready for that. And there's we'll see it later, but there's a little raft in there. I think it's got 10 seats in there.
Yeah,
it's going to be 8, 10, or 12.
I was going to say, we don't have anything in this scene here as for scale. Somebody in the chat is talking about how I thought this thing would seem bigger. This escape raft here holds, you said, 10 people?
Yeah, it's very similar or almost identical dimensions to the Argo MPUV transport. The pod on the back of that has all the seats. It is one of those inside, but done to Origin standards.
Gotcha.
So it packs a few, but it is quite cramped. But you're escaping
I
with your
can't hear
life.
what you're saying.
And we've gone for the raft option, obviously, because it's a luxury ship. We wanted the guests, on the upper decks to have a bit more space, rather than further down that we might see later as the individual escape pods that the crew would use in an emergency.
Yeah, and for sort of scale reference, this little airlock and antechamber is very similar to the Hammerhead in terms of size and shape. So if you've ever seen a Hammerhead, the mouth on the front of it is that tiny hole on the outside of the ship.
That's right, yeah. A metric for docking colours in the future. So we try and keep that consistent across all the ships.
Yeah, and talking of docking, this is one of the 2 docking colours on the ship. So I saw people were asking, are you only ever going to be able to spawn this on extra large planetside hangars? That's not the case. Big space stations in the future will have extra large hangars, so you'll be able to spawn it there. And then when we have docking, you'll be able to connect to it from docking colours. So if you're docked to a station, this would be your way on from the station.
Okay. And what are these that we're looking at here? These like weapon racks?
So there'd be EVA suits
EVA
being an
suits.
airlock going to the outside, because you're not always going to be using this just to transition onto a space station or whatever. You may be going outside to do repairs or take an EVA. So yeah, suits in those.
So that's the airlock on the port side. There's the airlock on the starboard side. They come in and meet here in the center, which I thought was a unique decision.
So they're a little bit like an air bridge or an airport. Get that kind of vibe as you going onto the plane in the airport case and here onto the ship.
So this is
Big
another
fancy.
way in. So this is simply the lift that goes down to ground level for, if you're planet side, you obviously can't just walk up to the docking collars because they're about 40, 50 meters up in the air.
Yeah, a few stories high.
If you ever seen like a A380 at an airport with a jet bridge connected to the upper deck, it would be like 2 A380s stacked on top of each other with a one going up to the very top of it. It would seem a bit odd. So we've got a lift that goes down.
Right. So as we start going through the inside, right away, you notice something different. We got plants and props here inside the ship.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big ship, and without placing stuff around, it's going to look really sparse and unfinished. So it needed a dressing pass, and plants just add a bit of character to it, and then
Luxury as well.
It's
A plant in
luxury,
space is.
you got to have stuff for the areas to sit down. It's more like a cruise ship in some ways.
I think this is one of the things that we sort of learnt as well as a team from going on from the 600i. It doesn't really have this level of dressing and detail to it, and that would be one of the things we would in the future go back and put into, not literally copy paste, but work the same sort of themes we've done here into the 600 series.
Yeah, especially with Origin styling, because it's quite minimalist in style. You're not getting all those big bulkheads and things like that you get with other manufacturers. So it's just being able to add some visual interest in there that you're not getting from the architecture. I mean, it's great architecture, but it's minimalist by style. So it's just adding details.
So this room is the Atrium.
Yeah.
It looks like it's 2 levels. We were talking before the show starts. These stairs, like I never thought, it's 3 levels, sorry. I never thought I would say I love these stairs before, but these stairs are so cool. They're not child friendly though.
Not child friendly. You wouldn't let your toddler play on them.
Yeah, they were one of the tricky things to solve when we first sort of came to do this ship. We were slightly concerned by the view you'd get from where we came in there, and worried it was just going to be just all you could see was staircase, and trying to make them be an interesting feature of the room.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 3 floors in here, and we've got a set metric for stairs. You know, they have to have a certain rise and depth to each one, and to fit that into a space, you needed quite a big space. So it took quite a bit of work to get this space big enough and without it feeling too empty.
Now, I noticed we've done something, I don't recall seeing this on another ship before. We have directions inlaid into the floor.
Yeah, that's like our signage pass up on the upper decks where the guests would be. So, you know, you spend quite a bit of time on the ship, so you'd kind of have a good idea where you're going. So we didn't want too in your face. So we've got these subtle call-outs of where different things are.
Well,
There's a lot on the ship.
yeah, I'm paralyzed by choice right now. We've got pathways to go on this floor, the floor above, and then the floor above that. You tell me, where should I go next?
Let's probably go to one of the guest suites on each side. So there's 4 of these guest suites on the ship. So one of the big purposes of this ship is sort of VIP transport, and obviously these guests need somewhere to stay. So they each have these own little suites. So the workstation, bed, lounge area, aquarium, obligatory aquarium, and then a bathroom with shower and toilets and everything. Something we wanted to do that we just didn't get round to doing on those back walls was having a nice little UI display.
Yeah.
So at the moment they're just these sort of fake light walls, but
Right.
I think in the
It'd be good
future
to-
we'll make them a bit more interesting.
Yeah, you can imagine like swaying trees or waterfalls or something.
What is this? Shower is bigger than my entire bathroom.
Yeah, so it's like our artist Mike, his take on a shower bath in the luxury style. It's
Waterfall shower. There's 2 showers.
Take your pick how you bathe in there.
Very cool. All right, and then we have
I
the
mean,
mirrored room.
you pick the guest suite there that lacks the props pass. We're partway through dressing some of the rooms.
Right.
They've not been copied to these, but there's definitely at least 2 of them that have been done.
Yeah.
We just need copying to these ones.
Yes, in case it still needs to be said, this ship is obviously, it's not released, it's not out in our live environment, and that's because we're not finished working on it. So what you're seeing is definitely a work in progress state.
Yeah, we're very much in the polish
Yeah,
stage of this now. So
98% maybe.
Right.
It's just a few loose ends.
So all right, so where do I go next? Just down this floor?
Stay on this floor and go straight forwards.
So you can see the other side of those escape rafts if you want, if you go through one of those doors. Since we were talking about them.
All right.
So that's, what is it, 8 or 10?
That looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8.
8.
Okay.
So we've got 8 each side, so that's 16 for your guests.
Yeah. So these are primarily guest ones because they're directly accessed off the levels where the guests are. There's more than enough there for them and some crew, but the crew have their own escape pods down on the lower decks.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole ethos of the ship, it's like very much a ship of two halves, if you like, where from this floor up is all about the guests and the luxury and the spa and whatnot, and then all the decks below, that's your engineering and where the crew sit and where they might make your food. They've got their own galley down there.
Gotcha. So we have elevators down, and we also have, we showcased this on ISC, ladders for in case you've lost power, you can traverse the different levels.
Yeah.
If the elevators are knocked out.
You lose power, you've lost access to your lower decks without those ladders.
Does this floor have a name? Is there something we refer to this floor internally as?
We've been calling this just the Atrium, and that's all the floors in this bit, and then once you go through that door, then that's the spa deck.
Spa deck? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very much a spa deck. So we've got a little hot tub jacuzzi.
JJ just made an audible gasp when he saw this. I don't know if you heard that. Now, this is the spa we showed on ISC. Of course, it's got an aquarium floor.
That's right.
Which is a bit excessive, but that's the order of the day with the 890 jump. I see you've made a dressing pass since I've seen this here.
Yeah, just a few little bits to dress it up.
That's cool. All right, let's see. And then we come back out. What's opposite of the spa? Is this the sauna?
Yeah, you got twin saunas on this side.
Wow.
Have a sauna party or sauna in a steam room.
Sauna party.
Yeah.
When
Parties.
will we get the design doc on sauna gameplay, John?
Probably when Tony gives you that.
All right, so more showers.
To wash off after your sauna.
All right, and then beyond that, more elevators.
Yeah, so we've got one sort of guest elevator, which is this one you're looking at, and then there's one behind which is more staff orientated because it takes you to slightly different places where the guests
Oh, really? I had
shouldn't
noticed that
go.
before. So this takes you to the foyer, bar, lounge, dining, spa, pool, hangar, and then this one. So you're saying
so
the
for
sauna where
example,
the two worlds
Crewe.
collide.
Yeah.
Two worlds collide in the sauna.
So there's, because obviously above this, I say obviously we haven't seen it, there's the sort of bar dining area. There's actually a crew kitchen or galley down in the depths. So this is the direct route for the food being prepared. One deck down to go one deck higher.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then just changing areas, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Changing areas before you make it to the pool. That is cool. I love the way the water reflects on the ceiling there.
Some nice caustics going on.
Am I going to drown if I jump in?
You will suffocate if you take your helmet off and go under the water. But you've obviously got a helmet on, so you're fine.
I always wear a helmet in the pool.
And then when swimming comes online, that you would be actually able to properly swim in that. We thought it would be a bit harsh if we treated it the same as the water on Hurston.
Death pool. All right.
I think that's pretty much the spa level.
All right, let's go up
Yeah.
fancy stairs. The second level of the atrium here. Now, our path's significantly lower here. We just have this here.
So this is all about the bar and the dining, and obviously left and right there you've got two more guest suites identical to the ones we saw downstairs. That makes you 4.
All right.
So these are the ones with the proper
This is the one that's had the
These are
dressing
ones that we
pass.
should have shown.
Gotcha. So the ones that we saw downstairs will eventually come to look like these.
Yeah, they're all pretty much identical. Little changes in between, but nothing major.
We are all for sale. He's got 2 copies.
Some thrilling
Good luck.
literature.
Yeah, well, this is just, yeah, so very cool. All right, and these are the elevators we saw down below. This one
Yeah,
goes
so you
up-
can see that one comes straight out here, so you can go into the bar, which is guest orientated, and then behind that wall is the one John was mentioning where it just goes between galley and then to this floor, so they can go out through a different way to take the food to the dining room.
More bathrooms.
Got any
So-
bathrooms? Have you got a busy bar?
Yeah, these bathrooms were the cause of some drama, and I even saw it in the patch notes. I think on Spectrum and Reddit there was great discussion over what we meant by scaling down the bathrooms. Sort of people were thinking that we were cutting out bathrooms and people were losing out on their luxury or having less
No.
bathroom. There was just a comically overscaled bathroom in these.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when into third person, you had your character outside of them, and for some reason the scale was off. So
You sort of
Well,
need someone on your shoulders to get into the top towel cupboard.
yeah, you couldn't reach the towel to wipe your hands. So
Nice.
that needed sorting. That's done then.
People, there's been a strange fascination with bathrooms throughout the history of this project. All right, so this is the bar area.
Yep.
This is really detailed. I'm just gonna take this with me.
Yep, carry it around for a bit. Somewhere in here there is the actual. There was the bartender, yeah, on the right there. If you watched how many episodes ago it was, the slightly to the left, the mocap for the.
Right.
That's where
Gotcha.
that sort of stuff will end up.
This is all built
What
to
do they
metrics,
call
so.
Is it called Scooch Tech? I think that's the last term.
Scooch is for these sort of benches where. Because we have direct access into a seat. If you imagine a bench, you sort of want to get in and then scooch along to the next slot.
Right, there's
and
some
scooch
term
back out.
I heard for the bar because they kind of started designing bars in a straight line, but we wanted to curve and we had to segment it into something so the animations could transition between the like different stalls, if you like, of the bar between drinks, washing, or whatever they do. So it was a bit of a task, but yeah, we got it working with a curve, so that's cool.
Found a use for all that concept art.
Yep.
It's really cool. Slowly spinning around. All right, I noticed we have a little bar area on that side, but on this side we have what looks like a kitchen.
So this is where the
Oh, this-
food would come up from the crew kitchen down beneath. Because what would a bar do without some food options? But it's primarily for the room further towards the front of the ship.
Yeah.
So this is a bit more bit more formal dining, this section.
Yeah.
And then you have, which can either be a very formal dining area at the front or a sort of boardroom style setup. I know a lot of people are excited to have this as sort of their org's HQ, and they
Yeah.
want that sort of villainous high table to do plotting around.
Well, yeah, this definitely feels more like the villainous hightail when you've got 2 point defense missile batteries right
Yeah.
there that you can watch.
And until recently, it was quite monochrome, just dark, and with a few bits of white, and that added to that villainous look. So we went with some wood to try and warm it up a bit, so it's not so evil villain layer.
It's nice to sit in here when there's a battle raging outside.
Yeah, got some great views, best views in the house.
No kidding. Now, you said the kitchen was downstairs. We were on the floor before, but we didn't see a kitchen.
It's one floor below that.
Oh, so we weren't even, okay. So
Yeah.
All right.
There's another floor.
There's another floor below the floor we were just on, okay. Well, what should we do? Should we go down there or should we continue heading up?
Should we go up to just
Yeah, we'll
finish
go
off
up to the
as
bridge
we've
and then we
only
can
got the
take
bridge?
one of these
All right,
lifts all the way down.
take the elevators back down, okay.
So I think there's there's like 60 plus rooms in this ship.
Yeah, so on this one, these are like your viewing galleries either side, we're calling them.
Okay.
And then it's just two. We got the bridge at the front and the master suite at the back.
This is the front, so we'll do the bridge here. All right, so we see the hollow globe here. Lots of fans of the hollow globe.
Yeah, like some of the big capital ships, this is where you do your command and control gameplay from. Organizing your fleet, directing them would come from these big hollow globes. And then a very similar setup to the 600i in terms of control. So you have a central one, and then these two front ones actually control all the variety of remote turrets at the moment, as well as doing engineering and other MFD functions. So we decided to put the actual pilot control on this central one rather than be a captain like the 600i.
Gotcha. Now, when more multi-crew gameplay come on, will people be able to reassign and put the pilots, if they want a dedicated pilot station?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, we built all these stations with full dual stick controls, so you'll be able to mix and match them.
Gotcha. So when that system comes online, we'll be able to have a dedicated pilot, and the captain can just sit there and bark orders.
Or you can sit in the battle bridge if you really wish to.
We'll go to the battle bridge soon.
It was an interesting room to do this because to get the vantage point you want for piloting the ship, you needed to have that height that you're at up there. So we needed to bridge the height difference between the exterior, the bit out in the atrium, to this point. And that just gave us the opportunity to feed those twin staircases in and just give you that reveal shot as you go in there and you look up, and you're not instantly seeing out the window. You have to go up and see it. It's got quite a nice flow to this room.
Yeah, and those two cupboards you just looked in where the avionics or computers will be going. When they're actual physical items inside the ships, they'll be on those racks. And they slide out just so it's because the cupboard itself or the wall is slanted back. It would be on the sort of reach metric to get to the items to get in there. So we slide them out like people have seen in the Vanguard rework. Those item hatches have lots of mechanical movement to them to bring them into a easily accessible position.
And before we go to the bedroom, I want to show my favorite area. Walk up here. I want to stand up here and like hover like Batman.
Put some little signs up saying no climbing.
Or the crow.
So where you get down now, you break your legs.
You watch WCW back in the day.
Slide tech. Whee!
Oh, I'm stuck. Say what's up. I was supposed to. Let me down. Okay. All right. So that's cool. I don't know why. I'm just the light shadow of the plant there. It's really nice. And of course, some of the prop artwork.
Obviously, shadow casters on lights are a bit more expensive, but you use them sparingly. But where you use them, you get your money's worth, and it's quite a nice lighting setup there, catching the shadows of those plants.
Yeah. With all the reflections of the lights on the dome there, I get like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Very spectral.
Yeah. All right. So then now we've got the master suite.
Yeah. So this is the most probably luxurious bit of the ship. So this is the master suite. So it would traditionally be the owner of the ship's cabin. But I guess if you were renting your ship out for missions and you had a very highly paying VIP, you'd probably have to give them this cabin for your for their fare. Yeah, it's got a lot of glass out into the outside world.
A lot of glass, a big foyer. You get a great look of engine trails.
Yeah.
When it's moving, and then I didn't realize these were doors. These are the
Sneaky doors.
Coolest hidden doors. So we come over here and.
So you have a little lounge on one side.
Wow. And more doors. Oh my goodness. I obviously have not been here. I thought that room was it. I didn't realize there was a hidden door there.
Yes, this is your sleeping room, your bedroom, with your ensuite just behind you.
Got the curved flat screen. All right. When this thing gets out backers, I fully expect an MTV Ballers parody, or what was the Cribs MTV Cribs parody
Yeah.
for this ship. Oh my word, this is cool. What's up here?
Other shows are available.
That's where we
course.
that's where we came from. Okay, so wait, we came from up top. So this looks like a door too, and then
That's your ensuite bathroom.
yes, this is definitely calling out for a Yo MTV Cribs style commercial. All right, so is this the room we went through before? I'm lost at this.
No, so this is on the opposite side. So whether you have like this little study lounge area on one side, you have this sort of personal dining area.
Yeah.
You got a chow line, and so you could have your own little separate dinner parties in here if you wanted to. It's fully equipped.
What is? All right, so we've got ketchup, mustard, some plants. Some
Everything a
Alcohol and
needs.
protein powder.
pre-work protein powder,
And a load of beer.
a little bit of everything here. It's like wheatgrass. It's probably like wheatgrass is what that is. I don't know what wheatgrass is. Justin eats it. The aquarium. Wow. I totally missed those drawers when I went through before. I had never seen that. Okay.
So that's the top deck. Pretty much done. Guess we go further down.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit impressed, guys.
Only a little.
Well, I mean, I've seen so much of this. I just hadn't seen that before. I wasn't prepared for that.
We're actually having one of the vehicle feature team play tests yesterday, and a lot of the guys were playing with their ship for the first time, and they were shocked and amazed by how much there actually was in here.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people who see it for the first time.
Right.
You know, when you're just talking about the big glass ceiling in the atrium, it just had me thinking, can you imagine flying inverted over a planet, looking down on a planet from there? That would be pretty cool.
I won't have to imagine. We're going to see it eventually. All right, so
True.
we went down to the hangar level now.
Yeah, so this is the route guests will take if they want to go use the onboard 85Xs,
All right.
or they've landed via their 85Xs.
Is that over
So
here?
if you- no, that was the way you were going.
Oh, I was going the right way. Okay.
Follow the wooden floor.
Yeah, so this is your guest path into it.
So this deck is sort of mixed use between guests and crew, but so it's slightly more utilitarian in styling, but still
Yeah,
luxury.
just trying to keep a bit of that guest luxury in here, just because this will be the path they'd need to take if they was getting an 85X, as you say, and
Right.
flying somewhere else.
So this is the top hangar there.
Yeah. So this has two metric extra small landing pads on it, so it can account for two 85Xs or other ships. I'm not even going to dare look at what Spectrum or Reddit tries to fit in here, because officially it is two of those landing pads. That's what will allow you to nicely spawn. Whether you want to jam bigger things in here is
Well,
up to you.
somebody is going to try to fit a ballista in here, and then just raise the ballista up
Yeah.
and just fly around with. Who needs these little measly point defense missile batteries when you've got a ballista here? So that brings
So yeah,
us
this has gravity on the outside because it's like the Olisar landing pads or space station landing pads. It projects up a little, but if you go off this, then it's not.
All right. So, and then these doorways at the ends here, as we discussed in ISC, you've got additional cargo plating here.
Yeah.
So you can squeeze a bit more cargo in here. We haven't seen the actual cargo bay yet, but we'll see that in just a few minutes. And then this is the path to the forward
Yeah, the forward turret up on top.
turret. Yeah, we saw that. We saw that already before.
It was a bit tricky trying to fit access to that because in front of that wall is the actual front landing gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to clear the front landing gear, the turret has to do a bit of a a wiggle when you get in it anyway.
A little bit forward and up to clear it, because it's massive landing gear and it occupies a large chunk of that forward part of the wedge. So yeah, made it tricky, but we did it.
This is the top
So,
turret.
yeah.
Okay. Exit.
So another man turret on the bottom, again size 4, and then there's another remote turret under there as well. So I think there's actually 9 or 8 turrets. 2 man, 2 remote, 4 missile one. So there's 8 turrets on here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Some more EVA suits. Oh. Rec room.
So this is more now purely crew without where guests would need to transition through. So this is the guy doing the crew area. He just felt they need somewhere to go and have a break, take a little rest. So they've got this room. And then this is their quarters.
Crew
So
quarters.
each got their own little
Communal
pods
space.
with some storage.
No curved screen for the crew.
Left that open for a second. So now we're down in the kitchen area.
Yeah, so this is the crew's like kitchen machine, and then this is sort of the professional kitchen for the fare-paying guests upstairs.
Mhm.
You might find Steven Seagal in the meat locker.
Yeah.
There's that elevator that went directly here that we saw before.
So we injected a lot of chrome into this room just to try and get it across that this is the galley where, as
Right.
John said, preparing the food for the guests, a working kitchen.
This is just a giant refrigerator. Looks like her. Yeah. All right. So okay, we're back in.
So we've got escape pods on the right there for crew.
I'm sorry. I see this and I can't help but think of the Spaceballs escape pods. They do look comfortable. It looks like if you're going to get knocked around, you're going to be okay in these.
Yeah, these are going to go out quick, so there's going to be some G-force.
Yeah, I think I'd sooner take the raft.
And then we saw this. This is the battle bridge.
Yes.
So talk to us about the battle bridge.
What can you say more than it's the battle bridge? So this mirrors all the functionality of the top bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It is priority-wise, it has lower priority currently than the upper bridge. So anyone sat on the upper bridge will have priority. But obviously, if you want to come down here, there's probably a reason why you don't want to be stood in the upper deck. But you will eventually have exactly the same functionality as you do on the top bridge. So you can actually fly the ship from down here. Obviously, you'll notice the number one problem is you can't see
Yes.
from down here, and at the moment we don't have the ability to have a remote camera like we have for turrets and retain flight control. We will have that in the future, but for the initial release that's not there, so unfortunately the only way you can fly from down here is in third person. But you can fly it, and I've seen QA trying to fly the ship in third person from down here,
And so
sort of doing some impromptu multi-crew calling out from other people dotted around the ship.
So eventually you'll get a remote camera view and you'll be able to fly
Yeah,
through that.
you'll be able to fly and manage the ship exactly as you could on the upper deck from down there. And those two front ones, again, have control over the remote turrets. So you can actually, if you fully crewed this with all humans, you could have 2 people down there, 2 people up on the upper bridge, and they would each be able to have their own remote turrets to control.
Interesting. Now we're here above the cargo bay. What's this
Yeah,
right here?
back of the ship, where the
Is that-
cargo bay is.
The ladder from earlier.
Oh, these are the elevators and the ladders we saw
Yeah.
earlier. Okay.
They're actually separate elevators than the ones you saw earlier.
Oh.
These ones, they just go between. Oh, sorry, you probably did see these ones. These are ones next to the ladders. I was confusing it with the one just around that next corridor.
That's probably fine.
I'm sure this is fine. Somebody will fix this. Okay, so we come down here into the cargo bay. Now this is at the bottom of the ship.
Yeah.
So if we open,
So there's actually little windows in the cargo bay floor that you can see through.
Yeah, so those bits where you would have stood, those are the grav plates, but where you were
Right.
stood,
Just
on
in front
both
of the
sides.
consoles.
Oh,
We wanted to have windows in because the old mechanism, you'll be able to see if the bottom's open or not, which on
Because it
activation.
sort of functions as an airlock as well.
oh,
So the main plate goes down, stops, then this seals it off.
and
you
not
still-
till that's closed.
you can still see
Can be-
down there.
So yeah, that's why we got the window in, so you can see which state it's in.
And then that went down.
Because that's now open to the void of space out there.
Oh wow! So this is like a mega version of the Constellation Elevator, except
Yes.
it's now 2 stages. It lowers into one stage, seals off from the rest of the ship, and then lowers into a second stage that's exposed to the world.
And that flashing light down there is similar to the Reclaimer front elevator, because when you're down on the ground, you're not quite sure where you have to interact with on the ship to call this from the outside. So we used a little light cue to signify where you need to stand, and then it's a lot easier.
I'm old enough to remember the days when the Cutlass was introduced and everybody stood around scurrying
Hunting for
around
the blue
it,
button.
hunting for the button to get inside for so long.
And that lift is also where the cargo is stored, like the main bulk of cargo goes on
Right.
here.
Okay.
I think there's a bug here where the damp or the emergency VFX is on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is normal.
shit.
This is fine.
Fire is fine.
This is fine.
yeah, that won't be there. So that's your gravity ball spinning.
Everybody wants
some of the
a fixer
components.
upper 890. Right, so let's see what's over here. Oh, engine room.
Big ship needs big engines, so we've got twin engines either side of the cargo room.
VFX is missing for the same reason that the fire is on
Yeah.
accidentally.
So where's
So
this
the
elevator
lift-
go?
This is the lift that you saw one deck up,
Oh, okay.
where next to the ladder, and then this also goes all the way back up to the
Let me out.
where the escape pods are. You got to call the
Okay.
So yeah, one of the last few bits to work on this ship are the VFX and the audio,
Right.
because they obviously require everything else to be done and nobody to touch anything. Otherwise, they end up just chasing their tails.
All right. So
I
have we
think
seen everything at this point?
that is all 68 odd rooms.
Yeah, let's. I'm gonna take one of the elevators.
Eddie Bay,
Actually,
bro.
let's
Oh yes, we haven't seen the Medi Bay.
go to the what floor is that on?
Go up the stairs behind you.
It's the way we first ran when we was on this deck.
Yeah, I
We
think
just
it's the
skipped
only
past it,
room.
but-
So the doors here, these are armories. You got all your gun racks there.
Jeez.
890 is a ship of many talents.
No kidding.
These have just been signposted, by the way. Robin informs me he's just put some signs on those so we know what's in them, which is a good idea.
So yeah, if you take a right at the end, obviously a ship this size, probably going to have some medical issues at some point.
Right.
So this is one of the higher tier
I was just gonna ask that.
or lower tier. Can't remember which way the numbers go, but it's more than the basic.
Gotcha. So not quite an Apollo, but more than a.
Yeah, it's less than a full planet-side one, which is like where primarily you'd be respawning at when you actually die
Mhm.
or need major surgery. But it's more than just a basic injuries.
Gotcha. I want to go on that ramp. I want to see what that looks like on the inside when we're on it. Right.
And yes, this does fit a ballista. It was never intended to. It was a sort of happy accident of having to make the ship so big for all the other reasons that the ballista actually
Yep.
fit in here.
So it locks, closes this out. Depressurizes. Oh.
Kind of reminds me of the one in Aliens, where she's fighting with the alien down in the airlock.
Get away from her.
Hmm.
And now we're weightless, CRG.
Now we're back outside. You can see the remote turret there just in
Oh,
front
there
of
we
the... So there's the two other missile ones, and then on the other side of the lift is the other remote
turret.
gun turret, and then that other bit there is actually where the passenger lift that we saw at the very start comes in.
So, I don't want to jinx this, but we've used several elevators today, and not one of them has killed me.
If anything's going to do it, it's going to be this one.
This is cool. All right, we're actually almost out of time. Is there anything else you want folks to know about the 890 jump before we let you go?
I can't think of anything.
No.
Cargo capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably the number one thing that people ask me. So this is just under 500 SCU. It's like 484 or something like that. Obviously, that is not 1600 like the website says.
Because that was done before SCU, though. That was
done
when it
before
was-
SCU. That's 1600 was the original freight units.
Yeah, the FUs.
And then when we did the post on converted to SCU, we actually listed it as 1600 again incorrectly. And when we came to make this ship, with all the other ships that we have now, putting 1600 SCU of cargo in a ship this size wouldn't have fit with all this other stuff in here. Obviously, when you see this thing fully stacked with cargo, so there's 400 odd goes on that rear cargo lift, and then there's more in the front hangar. Being able to fit 1600 probably would have required the entire lower deck to be purely cargo.
Yeah. And
it
that's
was just a lot for how the game, how all the ships are going to perform their roles. I mean, this saying just less than 500 is not an insignificant amount of cargo, and the sort of cargo this is going to be carrying is going to be valuable.
Yeah, and that's just a consequence of us refactoring how we calculate cargo units to begin with, from the old FUs to when we converted to SCUs.
And when I first started, it was actually in cubic meters as well.
Right.
So we've changed it quite a lot over the years, and there'll probably be more ships like the older ships that when they get put into production, they will have some adjustments done to them. It's not intentional nerfing of ships; it's putting them into the role that they need to be alongside everything else. So it may seem like we've chopped it in half, but actually, relative to the other ships in the game, they fit where they should.
All right, John, Pete, thank you so much for taking your time to be here. I know you've got a meeting that you need to scoot on to. It's actually about the 890 jump, right?
Yeah, it's the final discipline review with a slightly updated version of what we've seen here today, with all the departments to sign off their work and identify anything critical that's not there.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time.
Some confetti everywhere. It's his birthday. Rowing confetti. The rowing confetti. All over him. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Woo! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday!
That there.
Right there. I gotta let Terry go.
I'm going to be real honest with you guys right now. I saw the second camera set up, and I suspected something like that. That's why I tried to end the show 10 minutes early. Yeah. Trying to end the show 10 minutes early was me trying to screw you from doing this. John and Pete, who are in the UK and can't actually see what's happening.
That was very surreal, just of that happened.
Yeah, we only had the technology to send them either the game demo or the camera. So we've been sending the camera. So they haven't seen me. They can't see what's going on. They just annihilated me with something I'm not cleaning up. I got it. Yeah, you bet you got it. All right. Yeah, it's my birthday. Thank you, guys. All right. That's it. I'm completely off my game now. I don't know what to do. We'll see you guys next week, everybody. Take care.
Okay, cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertsspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.